The storm outside was merciless that night. Lightning cracked across the city skyline, the wind howled between the steel towers, and in one of those towers, on the 32nd floor, two strangers stepped into the same elevator. Neither of them knew that by the time the power went out, their lives would become entangled in a way that would test not just their patience but their hearts. Trapped in a stormy elevator, the headlines would later say. But what they didn't mention was the deal, a secret, desperate deal, that would change everything. And before I tell you what happened, remember this: sometimes life puts us in places we don't choose, with people we never expect, just to unravel the truth we've been running from. Stick with this story till the end, you'll see why, and I promise, it will move you. And if you believe in stories that remind us of the beauty in broken people, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. The elevator shuddered violently and came to a stop with a loud metallic groan. The emergency lights flickered, casting a dim, ghostly glow. Ava leaned back against the wall, clutching her designer purse to her chest, her breathing uneven. She wasn't just any woman. To the world, she was the daughter of the wealthy Harrington family, poised, polished, and untouchable. But to herself, she was a prisoner of expectations, cornered by an engagement she didn't want and a reputation she couldn't escape. Across from her, sitting on the cold floor, was Daniel. His shirt was damp from the rain he'd just run through to get into the building, and his hands bore the roughness of a man who worked too hard for too little. He wasn't supposed to be there, he had only come to deliver blueprints for a construction project. Yet fate had sealed him into that elevator with her. For the first few minutes, silence filled the space, broken only by the pounding of rain outside and the occasional rattle of thunder. Ava's eyes darted to the floor indicator that no longer lit up. She muttered something under her breath, words Daniel couldn't catch, but he could see the fear tightening her shoulders. "Storm knocked it out," Daniel finally said, his voice calm. "We'll be here a while." She glanced at him, as if sizing him up, and then looked away quickly, her lips pressed together. Normally, Ava avoided strangers, especially the kind who didn't wear a tailored suit. But something inside her cracked under the weight of the silence. She whispered, "I don't have time for this. I can't." Her words trailed off, but Daniel caught the tremor in them. "Can't what?" he asked gently. And that was the moment the unraveling began. Maybe it was the storm, maybe it was the darkness, or maybe it was that she felt unseen for once. Ava confessed. Not everything, not yet. But enough. She told him about the gala she was supposed to attend tomorrow, where her parents would announce her engagement to a man she didn't love. A man twice her age, who cared more about her family fortune than her happiness. And she confessed something else, too, her plan. That's when she looked straight at him, her eyes wet but burning with determination, and said, "I'll pay you $200,000. Pretend to be my boyfriend. Just for a few weeks. Just until I can get out of this mess." Daniel blinked, certain he had misheard. "You don't even know me." "I don't need to know you," she said, her voice breaking. "I just need someone real. Someone who isn't part of their world." The elevator groaned again, but now the storm inside the box was greater than the one outside. Daniel wrestled with his thoughts. He had debts, bills piling up, a little sister whose college dreams were slipping away because he couldn't keep up. 200,000 could change everything. And yet, something about her desperation made him hesitate. The storm lasted 3 hours, and by the time the power came back and the doors slid open, their deal was sealed, not with a handshake, but with silence. She had offered, and though Daniel hadn't said yes, his eyes had. The days that followed were chaos wrapped in elegance. Ava introduced Daniel as her new boyfriend at the gala, her hand clutching his arm like a lifeline. The crowd whispered. Cameras flashed. Her fiancé-to-be seethed, and her parents' polished smiles cracked at the edges. And through it all, Daniel stood tall, uncomfortable in his borrowed suit, but protective in a way Ava had never felt before. But secrets have a way of clawing out of the dark. Daniel wasn't just a construction worker with debts. He had once been part of her world, a world he had walked away from after a scandal that nearly destroyed his family. He had promised himself he'd never set foot back in it, but Ava unknowingly dragged him right into its heart. And Ava, for all her desperation, wasn't as helpless as she seemed. She had her own secrets, ones tied to why she wanted out so badly. The closer they played their parts, the harder it became to tell what was real and what was pretend. The stolen glances. The late-night talks when no one was watching. The way Ava laughed, really laughed, for the first time in years when Daniel told her about the time he fixed a neighbor's fence and got paid in pies instead of money. And the way Daniel's chest tightened every time Ava looked at him like he was more than just a deal. But the storm hadn't ended, it had just changed shape. When Ava's family discovered Daniel's past, they used it to tear him down. They told her he was unworthy, a liar, a man who couldn't protect her from their world. And when Daniel